of the On The Haus Podcast officially. It's been trying to get this worked out for a little bit here, but we're gonna finally get it going. So, let's get right into it. I'm Joey Hauser. I'm joined with my brother Sam Hauser and my dad, Big House, Dave Hauser, and we're probably one of the only father-son trios out there in the podcasting game. But we've already been nicknamed the Dream Team by Blake Griffin, so got some high expectations coming into it. But yeah, so this is a start. I mean, our plan is just to kind of have some fun with this. It's good for us three because we don't get to spend a lot of time with each other anymore. So this podcast is a little something that we can do and have some fun with. But just a little bit of background on us. We're from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Me and Sam went to Spash High School, Stevens Point Area Senior High. Our dad is currently the athletic director there, so we still got close ties to Stevens Point. Sam currently is playing for the Celtics in his fourth year in the NBA. He started his college career at Marquette, transferred, finished his career at Virginia. I joined Sam at Marquette for 1 year, transferred and went to Michigan State for my last three, and now I'm in the G League. This is my second year. I'm playing with the Atlanta Hawks G League affiliate. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And, just to kind of tell you guys what we want to talk about. I mean, we really just want to, talk about things that could be applicable to coaches, athletes, or anyone really. I mean, this normal bar talk. I mean, as you can see, the Big House is down in the bar right now. So it's got the finals seat cover, the Celtics in the background. I like it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you guys got to add on to that.
I mean, I'm ready to get this thing going. We're gonna, chop it up and have some real conversations with cool guests, and we're also keeping it light and fun. So, pretty excited to do this with you two as well. I think it's gonna be a fun, hobby for us to really get into.
Yeah. What do you got, Dad?
I'm more worried about the pressure Blake Griffiths just put on us as a fellow No Shovel Club member there.
Yeah. That was an early, but the bar's been set high, to say the least.
I like it.
Yeah.
But a little bit more about our family. We got an older sister, Nikki. She was a great athlete as well. Currently director of ops, University of Virginia for their volleyball program and their wrestling program. And then our mom is a WIAA director, which runs all high school sports in the state of Wisconsin. So first lady in her position, so you can say she's a little bit of a pioneer in her role. But that's it, and that's what. Yeah, she's top dog, head honcho over there. But that's what we want to do, and we're excited about it. So we hope you guys kind of like where this is going. But that's it.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Right. This is the official first episode we're starting. Got a couple different things we're going to talk about today. We'll talk a little bit of recent sports. We'll talk about some big things going on in Sam's life right now. I mean, obviously, start of the season, ring ceremony was, a couple nights ago. But let's just go around the table here, give a little update of where each of us is at, what we got coming up. Dad, what do you got? Any travel plans, sports? What do we got?
I'll give you the high school update real quick from Spash. We're just kind of finishing up fall season. And our football team, unfortunately, didn't advance past level one of the playoffs, but we played a great game. Our golf team and boys soccer went to the first round of the playoffs and didn't make it past, but we held the cross country sectional today. And then for anybody that knows Spash cross country, or for those that don't know, Don Banky advanced to the state tournament for like the 45th time with his team. And Mike Olson, who's also been around a long time, advanced 2 girls. So we're pretty excited about that today. So we are kicking off winter sports here pretty quick, and boys and girls basketball and wrestling, and girls wrestling and swim are coming.
Perfect. Sweet. Yeah. Any road trips? We got just we're out in Boston, right?
Yeah. We're just down by you, and then going to Boston. I'm trying to figure out. We got to keep an eye on Nikki over there because the way the Who's are trending right now, I feel like they. I think she said if they don't get an NCAA bid, there's like an NIT for women's volleyball possibly.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
new
So
of
I
like
feel
the
like we're
last
gonna have to keep
year
an
or
eye on
two.
that,
Yeah.
and then
yeah. Shout out to the Virginia women's volleyball. They're on a
I
roll.
think they're 16-4 right now, I believe. I think.
yeah. Do we know for sure?
So it's either
Let me
15-4
give it a quick
or
look, but
16-4. But currently receiving votes to get in the NCAA tournament.
Update us a little bit, Sam. What's new in your life right now, without giving away whatever details you want?
No, I mean, well, the NBA season just kicked off. So we got that going. Our new addition to the family is about 7 weeks old now, newborn Teddy.
Yep.
And so currently just in Boston. Got some games coming up this week that we'll touch on in a little bit, and that's really it. A lot of travel for me coming up in the coming days and months, and then I know I go out to Milwaukee in a couple weeks to see. I mean, playing the Bucks, seeing mom and dad, and then to Atlanta not too soon after that, I think. And then me and Joey will see each other and all that, and so it's a lot of excitement.
South
on the
City
way.
Kitchen, baby. We're going to South City Kitchen, getting the free
maybe,
cornbread.
maybe Sam could buy dinner.
Yeah, maybe Sam could buy dinner this time. That's good. Well, just to update you guys a little bit here, just moved down to Atlanta like 2 weeks ago. So thanks for my wonderful mom and dad for driving the car down with all my shit in it. So really appreciate that. But we're getting our season. We're starting kind of like our G League training camp here pretty soon. We got media day tomorrow. And we'll just kind of get that started. So schedules are going to pick up a little bit here and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty much where I've been at lately. We've just been doing kind of like OTAs, I guess you could call it.
Cool.
Well, we got college basketball season coming around the corner here. I did a little research. Michigan State and Virginia were both picked to finish 5th in their conference in their preseason rankings. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Sam. I mean,
yeah, we'll see. I mean, with Coach Bennett leaving, it'll be interesting to have such a drastic change right before the season starting. But Coach Ron Sanchez is a great person, and I think Coach Bennett left the program in good hands. But I know Coach Bennett every single year for the last, I don't know, however many years, I feel like he finished in the top 3 of the ACC pretty consistently. So I'm going to take I guess the over on the 5th place, and I'm going to put him at 3rd.
Another Stevens Point legend. Got to mention that. Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Congrats on retirement, Coach.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good for Tony.
Yeah. Michigan State. I mean, they're going to be talented. I can tell you that. So, I was up there most of the summer working out with some of their guys. So I was around them. I got to see them a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, the Big Ten is going to be – it's hard to kind of predict with all the additions they got. What are they up to, like 17, 18 teams? But I think 5th place, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's maybe where I'd pick them first, obviously, but it's a good spot for them. I think it's they can prove some people wrong.
Yeah, a lot of buzz coming out of the Duke preseason game. Knuppel played pretty well, and he's a Wisconsin kid. So
Wisconsin,
yeah, he's looking pretty good. So I'm excited
to 8 threes or 6
excited to watch
threes,
him for sure and see what he can do for the Duke Blue Devils. Even though
well,
not Duke
everybody's
fans
talking about. Everyone's talking about Cooper Flagg, but he's a pretty good freshman as well.
For sure.
Yeah, get behind a Wisconsin guy, and I believe I'd have to look this up, but I believe his dad was a national champ at Platteville.
And that fact is on the house.
On the house, baby. That's on the house stat right there. Packers Jaguars tomorrow. I mean, we're obviously huge Packer fans. We're from Wisconsin, so we got to talk about it.
Got the G right here.
Packers are looking good, looking really good.
They're looking good. J Love's starting to find his stride. He looks healthy off of that knee injury in week 1. So it's defense is looking good. Hafley, the Boston College product, got those boys playing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a D coordinator. He was Boston College
that's
guy.
The new D coordinator. Yeah, yep. He's got those guys.
Hey, Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh back with the Packers.
What's his role?
I wonder what he's saying about Rodgers right now.
I think they said something. He's going to help out with the offense, right? Because he's a big defensive guy, so he's going to help him scheme against the defense or something like that. But him and LaFleur grew up together, I believe. Michigan,
college roommates. I think college roommates.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
What about the Jets, Joey? I know you're pretty tuned into the Jets season. What do we got?
That's my boy. Hey, Raj, that's my boy. I don't know what to. It might just kind of be, you know what? Let's pad some stats a little bit and then just call it a career. I don't know. I mean, the Devontae Pickett, once they get going, don't let them win one. Don't let them win one game, because if they win one, I think they could get rolling.
Well, the thing is, they're gonna have to finish 8-2 the rest of the year to make the playoffs. That's gonna be tough. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Speaking of football,
they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah. Speaking of football, big Michigan State football versus the other team tonight. I won't even say their name.
Wow. What do we got? Is it in Lansing? In Lansing?
I think it is. I'd have to double check. I think it is, but I'm gearing up to maybe go to a little Michigan State bar here in Atlanta to go watch and grab a bite to eat.
Yeah.
Love that.
But
I think it is in Lansing tonight, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year was down at whatever you want to call that other city.
The Big House, maybe. Yeah.
No, we're not. It ain't working on our show. No, it's not working on our show.
What do we got for World Series picks? Who are we taking, Dodgers or Yankees?
I hate that both of them are. Oh, I'm going to go Dodgers because Gavin Lux. Have to. Sam, you know him better than I do. So I got to pick the Dodgers, but the Dodgers-Yankees World Series is kind of they're always there, I feel like.
Two biggest budgets in baseball. Young,
but it seemed like it was always Dodgers, Yankees in the World Series, and Celtics, Lakers in the NBA Finals. So we're back to the '80s again.
Yeah. I'm going with Gavin Lux and the boys as well.
Yeah. Now you said that, Sam, it's going to be tough for me to not root for a Wisconsin guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll go Dodgers.
Ohtani's the best player ever too, so I think it'd be cool to see him get one.
You don't agree with that, Dad? Who's better?
I just wonder who's betting on the game. Is his buddy betting on the game?
No. Hey, Ohtani had nothing to do with it, they said. Yeah, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's kind of get into what we're going to talk about today. We briefly mentioned it, but Dad, you were out there for the ring ceremony. I mean, so we'll talk about this and then we'll put it to rest. But I mean, last year, the championship, everything, that was one of the coolest things, I'd ever been a part of. And I wasn't even playing. I was just watching my brother. But how big was that ring, Sam? Can you lift your hand up even?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if you can really call it a ring. It's it's like a mini trophy. Honestly, it feels like it's 2 or 3 pounds. It's so big, and I was nervous. I just didn't want to drop it when I got handed the ring. So did a good job with that. Got the insurance on it right away. They gave us the appraisal for it right after the game. So got that taken care of, which is big time.
Yeah. How was the whole ceremony part of it though?
Yeah, it was cool. It was didn't really know what to expect going in, but it was cool to be a part of. Just tried to take it all in and just recognize how special last year was. And you never know if you're going to get back. Obviously, that's the goal, is to get back there and do it again, but you just never know. So you just want to take it all in and appreciate what you did. And, we had guys like Bob Cousy was there. Obviously, Cedric Maxwell does our radio, so he was there. Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett were there. So that was pretty cool to see those guys and them kind of pass off. They had Paul Pierce carrying our trophy and pass it off to Big Al Horford on our team. So it was kind of like a, changing of the guard in Boston, which was pretty cool. So, and then to see it go up and hang next to all the retired numbers and all the championships was pretty special. And then we got a 30-point win. So that was cool.
Yeah, I was saying, I watched the game and I didn't think you guys could get like a tons better from last year. It's because you were so good, but you looked even better. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I said this on what was this, the radio or something after the game. We tied the single game record for the most threes made, and our like bench unit all checked in with 6 minutes left. We had to make 1 3 in 6 minutes to get the record for single game, and we missed 14 straight threes. So we got booed up 30 on ring night by our own fans. So that, welcome to Boston. Gotta love it.
What'd you guys shoot for the percentage from the 3-point line after that 0 for 14 for the game?
So I think we shot 29 for 61. So we were almost 50% still.
Wow.
Yeah.
61 threes. People that don't really like know basketball, that is absurd. I mean, that's
some people don't shoot that in their career.
Well, usually you're shooting for, isn't it 40? Like you're trying to get up 40. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the game, really. I mean, if they're giving you, we were getting wide open shots the whole game, and they happen to just be wide open threes. So you got to shoot them if you're getting open looks.
We talked about this briefly, but we mentioned it briefly. But I guess kind of want to get both your opinions on it. Just the whole Tony Bennett retirement. I mean, I guess I listened to his press conference and what he had to say, but I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, Sam, you played at Virginia. Go ahead, Sam, and you were there, and and spent time with him. Yeah. So I'm just curious to hear.
Well, first off, Coach Bennett is one of the most genuine people in college athletics, in my opinion. Obviously, it's biased, but I feel like my family can attest to that. And he brought Virginia on the map for the last 15 years, won a national title, countless ACC regular season titles, a few ACC postseason titles, and had a great career coaching at Virginia and also at Washington State. But I think he's been thinking about this for a couple of years now. I remember when, I think it was 2 summers ago when we were out there, Joey, he kind of said something along the lines of, if I'm not able to retain my players every year because of the transfer portal and NIL, I don't see myself being in this for too much longer. So I kind of had a feeling it was coming. I didn't know it was going to happen like right before the season started, but everybody's got to do what they got to do sometimes. And he's health-wise, he's good. He's kind of sick of dealing with NIL and thinks it needs to be regulated a little bit.
Yeah. That seemed like it was some people's concern. Like, is there something going on with him? And that's not at all what I thought right away. I was just like, he probably. I mean, look at all the other coaches that they just don't necessarily like the state of college basketball that have retired. So.
Yeah, guys are slowly getting. Those old school coaches are slowly getting kind of sick of everything.
I know. I feel like Izzo is the only one left.
Right.
Yeah. And
what do you guys? Fully respect Tony's decision, right? Not even a question. But what are your thoughts about the criticism he's taken as far as, hey, he stands for this and loyalty and the pyramid or whatever he's the pillars. But now he bailed on, some writers are saying he bailed on his guys. Like, I'm just curious what you guys think about that.
I agree with, because I listened to the whole thing and I agree with honestly like everything he says. I mean, he basically what he boiled it down to was he just doesn't feel like, just with the state of college basketball, like he doesn't feel like he can be the best best version of himself pretty much to coach these guys up. So he doesn't think it'd be fair to the players, but he's right on the money with the state of college basketball. I mean, it's good for guys to get paid, NIL, all this stuff, but there just needs to be, we got to figure out kind of a way to, I guess, regulate it.
Yeah, the criticism's kind of bullshit,
so,
honestly, towards him. I think the criticism's bullshit. It's people just want to have something to talk about. Like he said in his interview, he talked like his dad. We all know his dad, and like his dad says you have to honor the pillars of your program. Which, if you've been in either one of their programs, it's five words. And his dad said if you're not able to live up to those or respect those as well as you think you can, or live up to them, then you should be done. And he didn't think he was able to live up to the standard that he set himself. So he said, if I'm not going to be all in, this isn't going to be fair to the players and the coaches if I'm half in, half out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think anybody that's I'm not in that inner circle, but I mean, we all know that NIL is a kind of a shit show.
I mean, I'm all for players getting paid, but the transfer thing is really what irks me a little bit. Just because, like, I mean, we sat out a year. We knew what we were getting into when we transferred. I mean, did it make us better? Did it make us worse? I mean, you could argue that we needed a year to sit out and learn the system and figure out where the program that we were playing at. So I just think it's crazy. Like Coach Bennett said, you never know who your next roster is going to be now. And now you got to start. I mean, not that there's definitely not, there's good agents and bad agents, but now when you're recruiting players, like the first person you talk to is not their parents or the kid. Sometimes you talk to their agent right away. So I feel like that definitely changes the game.
So you guys just missed most of that. Like, Joe, you caught the tail end.
Yeah.
Is when you heard NIL first as a player, is this what you had in your mind of what's going on?
I didn't really that's a good question. Well, when I think of name, image, and likeness, it's like, all right, I'm going out to my favorite local pizza joint, and they're gonna hook me up with a free slice, or like they're gonna do a commercial and pay me a little bit of money. Like, I'm not thinking these big collectives that schools got going to pretty much offer guys like contracts. So that's what I think of, like, when I think of NIL. But once again, I'm all for guys getting paid. You might as well make your money while you can.
So what are your thoughts on this? And I'm sorry to add on this, but like there's a thought now, like, well, maybe you're actually going to be an employee of the school. Like, what are your thoughts and what are your concerns about that?
It's kind of what you have to do. I mean, at some point, I feel like you have to have these guys sign a contract. Like, hey, you're coming here for 2 years, or otherwise, so they can't just transfer and dip out, collect their money, go to another school, get money. Maybe seen that from a couple different guys, or a couple different stories you see, football, basketball, whatever it is. So, I mean, I just feel like there needs to be like like a collective bargaining, like, agreement or something.
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling somehow the big conferences are just going to kind of make their own league at some point and treat it almost like a Euro team league type thing. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I think football is going to be the first one to fall in that aspect in terms of super leagues, but we'll see.
I'm stealing this from a guy that talked about last year. I think Sam Mitchell was on a podcast or a radio show I was listening to, and he said, I'm all for the NIL, but don't give it to them until they're done. Put it in a trust, put it in investment, put it in a retirement account. Don't give it to them. Maybe give them a small portion to help them live on, which would kind of be the old scholarship, but give them a trust fund when they get done.
It's a decent idea. I guess we can kind of move on here a little bit. This is pretty related to what we're just talking about, but kind of a question for you, Sam, and I guess myself. You've been in the NBA kind of style of basketball for going on your 4th year now. When you go back and watch like college games, do you just think, God, these guys, not the players suck, but just the game just like sucks to watch.
Yeah, it's funny when you're in it though. You think you're playing like great basketball,
Yeah.
and honestly, like now with being in the NBA and it in the G League too, everything's pretty free flowing. There's not, if you're calling a play, it's like one quick action, and then you kind of just play. And in college basketball, you're running a set 90% of the time down the floor, and like Coach Izzo's been running the same plays for 40 years. Like it's insane, and it's like North Carolina's running the same fast break that it's been there for 30 years. So it's just different, and when you get to the professional ranks, every player is better too. Everybody's just a better basketball player in general. So sometimes when you go back and watch, it's a little tough on the eyes, but that's that's the beauty of college basketball and makes it unique.
Well, that's what's so unique is like the NBA, it's like a copycat league. Like everybody just has kind of their own verbiage that they put on their sets. I mean, there's different things, but like college basketball, you could get one team just running completely different offense, defense than another team. So it is kind of the beauty of it. But yeah, sometimes my first year out, like I'd go back and I'd watch some games. I'm like, God, what are they doing? Like, shoot more threes or something.
Right, yeah.
You guys go back and like go one more tier lower and go watch have you been to high school games? A lot of them.
I mean, I've just seen Spash, and it's I don't know. I don't think we looked like that when we played, but you never know. But yeah, seeing a high school game.
You brought up
that one's tough.
You brought up sets. You brought up sets. Izzo run sets. Coach Bennett ran sets. Like when you back in high school, when you went from high school to there, like you guys didn't run a ton of sets in high school.
I ran zero.
Talk about that transition.
I never ran a play in high school I never ran a play in basketball until I got to college. I swear to God.
Yeah, I think at Marquette we had like 90 plays. We had like 90 plays to know at Marquette. In Virginia, we ran sets, but it was more like a continuity set where it was the same thing over and over until you get a shot. But yeah, I have 3 different styles right there, from high school to Marquette to Virginia. I guess 4, and now to the NBA. 4 different ways to play basketball right there.
What are your thoughts on the high school shot clock? I mean, I don't know how many states have it, but everybody thinks it's like they have to do it. But I don't think. I think you keep the shot clock out of high school.
You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, you got this one. You're the one closest to this.
Well, there's a couple things there. I coached boys basketball and girls basketball, and I think there's a place for it, right? I do. But what I'd like to see, and I think more than half the states have it, right? I believe they do, or it's in that number. What I'd like to see from our state coaches association is just give me the data from the girls' side, from coaching girls, how it's going to, like how many shots per second there are in a game. They can collect that on Huddle. Huddle can keep all that stuff now. And then just give me some talking points of how it's improving girls' basketball. All right. And I would just ask the same with the boys, But now our head coach, Janelle McCarville came from a professional model, a college model. She played internationally with that with the shot clock. She can't figure out, like, why don't we have it? Like, it's going to progress the game. So I'm really caught in that sweet spot where I think when you guys played, we might not even known there was a shot clock.
Yeah.
I don't think there would have been a lot of issues.
Mm-mm.
So,
but part of it is
there's a place for it.
Yeah. Isn't part of it some schools can't afford it?
I think that's a different argument or conversation. That's a different conversation, and when you're talking about implementing rules, and when you guys bring Miss Stephanie Hauser on, she can talk through that. But when you bring in new rules to high school sports, is the new rule just a new rule for the game, or is there a cost factor to implementing the rule that schools need to have to consider? So,
yeah, I mean, I think they should just keep it out of high school, which you can't really say anymore because so many states already have it. But most people that I talk to, they're like, "Why isn't there a shot clock?" Why? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what did they do 20 years ago when there wasn't a shot clock? Like, there's you only wanted the shot clock. It's only been added like these past 4 or 5 years. So for the longest time, there wasn't one. But
I believe there's still a skill involved in the game in any sports where the strategy sometimes, and you guys remember when Sam, you played in quarters for a little bit until your senior year, we went to halves, right? And Joy, you remember that?
yeah, halves are way better.
Well, if you guys had the ball with 30 seconds to go, the other team wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
A minute to go.
So when I coach Nikki's team, it's possibly depending on the game. I just, there's a strategy to be able to control the ball and not have it get to your opponent. That's still a strategy, and I think you're taking a little bit of that out.
What do you have to say to the teams that hold the ball for 5 minutes, 6 minutes at a time to try to? I guess like the worst team is trying to hold the ball for 5 or 6 minutes to try to compete with the better team. What do you have to say to that?
I would say to that is if that's the only way that you believe you have a chance to win, then you have to do it. If you add the shot clock, are you taking strategy and coaching to a different level?
All right, put like a 45-second shot clock on. That'll work.
But I think you got to find the happy medium. I think there's a spot for it.
Dad, we often refer to you as the shot doctor. So similar lines here. What do you think? I mean, one could say you're 2 for 2 in your hit rate on making shooters. And you were a shooter yourself too. So what do you think makes somebody a good shooter? Like what do they have to have? Where does it start?
Well, I think with anything in any sport, you have to be able to have something that can be replicated over and over and over, that has an efficiency about it. Let's look at it from the other angle. If there was one way to do it and only one way to do it, then everybody would train it the same way. There's not one golf swing that's the same. There's not one shot that's the same. Yeah. Not one bowler that bowls the same way. But you have to have something that can be replicated with efficiency and consistency over and over, so you can teach yourself your corrections. If you do something different each time you shoot it, swing a bat, you can't really make a correction then because you don't know what you're doing different or wrong. So that leads to, you got to put some time into it. You got to rep it.
Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, kind of to piggyback off it, like you see a bunch of guys, you take the best shooters in the NBA right now, everybody shoots a different way. Steph Curry is probably the greatest shooter ever. He shoots it below his chin. Klay Thompson's probably the second greatest shooter ever. He shoots it up above his eyebrows. So, yeah. But, like there's just, you got to have confidence in yourself to also, you can put all this work in behind the scenes, but if you don't come out and execute and have confidence on game day when the lights are on you, then I feel like maybe the work is lost in translation. But I think a lot of it is mental, and even going through highs and lows, you gotta stay steady.
Now, to add to that a little bit, Sam, though, too, when you talk about like Steph Curry versus a Jokic, when we talk about the finer things, when you guys shoot, you'll hear me, hey, you're a little bit late, a little bit early, balls down, balls up. I don't know if you got to really understand those things to get to that spot. So if I was a young parent, Sam, or if I was a young shooter, if you have little kids, I would start with a small ball, short basket, and just work your way up and continue to work on those things. Then you can start getting to those finer points. For anybody that's going to be old that watches this podcast, they might remember Jamal Wilkes and Brian Winters. Jamal Wilkes shot the ball like that. Brian Winters shot it like this, but they did the same thing over and over. And you guys, Sam, there's a few guys in the league right now, and Joey, you see some guys, it doesn't look cool, but it goes in. So, but when you get really good, you can adjust those finer points. Like Curry, he has an early release. It's always on the way up, right?
When we were younger, we had the mini hoop set up in your mom's bedroom, and we would just have 3-point shooting contests every single night.
Yeah,
it's on the little mini hoop, the little Nerf hoop. It's where you get your touch.
Yeah, I think one other thing about like Steph Curry, though, I mean, talk about repeatable shots. His workouts, he doesn't shoot the same shot twice in any of his workouts. So if he's making 10 from the corner, he's doing something different every shot, whether it's he's stepping in left, right, and then he's stepping in right, left, or he's hopping, or he's taking a dribble. Yeah. He's taking a shot fake. They say variability in your training is very important in getting better, because when are you actually shooting the same exact shot in a game setting? It's probably very rare. And then also messing with like the height of the ball you're shooting in your workouts. That's something that I've worked on the last couple of years. Is sometimes you're going to get in a tough spot where you're late clock and you got a 7-foot guy closing out on you, and you might have to shoot it a little bit higher than you usually do. Something like so. That's why he's one of the best, Steph Curry, is because he can do all those things. Like, it's natural and it just happens.
Yeah. That's why sometimes I just hate shooting on the gun. Like, I'll do it if it's my last resort, but like the ball's coming right to my chest every single time. Like in a game, the ball, every single pass, every single footwork that you do into a shot is different every single time.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a time and place for just getting reps up. But yeah, I like what you were saying.
The variability. What made Joey and I good shooters, though, I think part of it is I don't think you let us shoot threes until we were like 6th graders, Dad.
No. Maybe. Well, when you think about, though, when little kids play when they're 3rd and 4th grade or 2nd graders, and that 3-point line's out there, it's really not necessary. Right, like whoop-de-doo, we made a 3-pointer on a Saturday tournament. Like, oh my God, you're the next greatest thing. That's why I think kids get bored with that, though. Because they just play games right now, and they don't have the patience or maybe the discipline quality just to go in the gym and shoot at 10 feet, shoot at 5 feet.
Yeah. If you're a little kid, like, watch Steph Curry, obviously, but maybe try to not replicate Steph Curry on the court.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna be.
There's a reason. There's only. Yeah, like he's one of a kind, man. But
well, every drill you guys did in that shooting step sequence, which maybe secretly for sale at some point. Thank Pat Miller, give him credit. He taught me all of them, but like all those steps you guys did all the time, and Nick, you did work. Like, tell people how far away you were.
3 feet from the hoop, right underneath the hoop, essentially.
Kind of my next question here, Sam. When you're going through a shooting slump, you've had a couple of slumps in your career so far. Not many. I mean, usually you're pretty consistent. Yeah. But when you are going through a slump, how do you work your way out of it?
Yeah, trying to have a short-term memory. I think within the game, each day. I feel like good or bad game, you have to come in the next day with the same mindset of let's get some work in, let's try to get better. Whether that's a routine you have or just maybe switching up your routine if you're going through something, maybe you just need something fresh. But if you're on a heater, I feel like you shouldn't change a thing. But I mean, so the thing is, like, I've had some slumps in the NBA, but then at the end of the year, like, my percentages is 41-42, which is kind of what I aim for before the season. So just goes to show that, you're going to have some highs throughout the season and have some lows as well. But when it's all said and done, like, where's the common ground? Where does it lie at? And, you just have to roll with the punches sometimes, and water finds its level eventually.
Yeah. I find it funny sometimes, like when you're on a heater, it's like, don't say anything. Like he can't miss right now. Like, let's not talk about it. Don't jinx it. But then when someone's in a slump, it's also like, don't jinx, like, don't talk about it. Like,
don't talk to him.
Yeah. Don't talk to him. Don't make it known that he's in a slump. But It always balances out. I mean, it always does. If you're a 40% shooter, you're going through a bad slump, or you're shooting at like 60% clip for like 10 games, more than likely at the end of the year, you're going to be at 40%, you know?
Yeah. I think
that's the beauty about the NBA, though.
Yeah. I mean, you play so many games in the NBA, it's bound to level out. But I think last year, I think my last like 3 games I shot, I think literally like 20% from 3. And it was like I had a 1 for 16 or 17 game in there, and I still shot 42% on the year. So it's just bad games happen.
That's the beauty of the NBA, though, is you have one bad shooting night, you got tomorrow night or the next night after that to kind of try and get it back. All right, we're back on the Haus Podcast, wrapping things up. Covered a lot there. We talked some NIL, talked some is college basketball good basketball, some shooting tips, some shooting stuff that we've learned. But we got a quick our first sponsor, Dad. What do you got for us as the No Shovel Club CEO? Explain to him what the No Shovel Club is.
You bet. I've been the No Shovel Club president since 1995. Have never lost in an election ever, but started by an old neighbor in Green Bay, Mr. Scott Crone, who was our landscaper. Shout out to Mr. Crone. We started this club, and we got tired of shoveling when you guys, Joe, you weren't even born yet, or Sam. So we just got tired of shoveling. So we decided on March 1st that year we were done shoveling, and the No Shovel Club got born. And it slowly grew into a little bit of a little, hey, we're not shoveling. What do you mean? That kind of thing. And then through the course of time, we just kind of grew into the club. And
it's a cult.
Yeah.
It's a cult following.
And now it's now we got a following. We have a Facebook page. So we got people all over the country, all over the world, that they are keeping their wives happy after November 1st, or their husbands when they don't shovel. So the premise of the club is simply this: until March 1st, you shovel, you shovel, you shovel, you shovel. You help your neighbor, you help everybody out. But once we hit March 1st, we're done.
Is it March 1st or is it April 1st?
March 1st.
Is it effective?
You got to explain the membership fee, though. How do you become a member?
Yeah, how do you become a member?
So in order to become a member, you have to have a snowfall, and you have to get out and drive down your driveway and have tracks, and you have to get a picture of it. You got to see the tracks. You take the picture, you post it on the No Shovel Club page, and then you become a member. And each year, and we've been a little bit lax in this, but each year we do a little apparel order, get some hats, get sweatshirts. We had bucket hats. And then what we had been doing kind of pre-COVID was, any profit we were sending to the Wounded Warriors Project.
Yep.
And we mailed that in. And since COVID, it's been not quite as good. But I'm feeling a resurgence this year. We'll maybe just do a separate fundraiser thing on, through something maybe on the Facebook page to get money over to Wounded Warriors. But we are a service club.
Yeah,
March 1st.
we got to get you on Instagram or something. We got to get the word out there.
Well, we have some older members that might not know what Instagram is.
Yeah. Hey, technically, you guys are kind of like partnered with Friday Beers, right? I mean,
we have a full sponsorship from Friday Beers that gave us in last year. So Friday Beers is on board, and I will say this: there's always some amendments that come up, or some emergency asks in case there's a blizzard and you have to get to work, or maybe you're sick. But it's got to go through the club approval process, or it doesn't work. So you have to submit that.
What's the club approval process?
The approval process?
Who's that? You're looking at him right there. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're the president, you got a lot on my shoulders right there. So it's been good because I've gone to your games. at Marquette when you're there. Marquette actually had a pretty good membership group. Michigan State's got a couple good members. Virginia didn't jump on board so much because it was COVID. We couldn't go there a lot. But, everybody will come out and they'll say, hey, Prez, how you doing? No Shovel Club. Look at the hat on. And it's kind of a growing club. And, I feel like we're about to get some momentum from this podcast. We're almost to 1,000 members. That's our goal this year.
Wow. That's a small town in Wisconsin right there.
Go join the club if you're on Facebook. Go join.
Yeah, we'll get some more info out on the No Shovel Club so people aren't confused. This next segment, I guess, for future episodes, kind of like a little listener engagement, maybe some questions that you guys might want us to answer. So we'll kind of designate this time for that in the future. I mean, obviously this is our first episode, and we hope to have guests on too. I mean, we're gonna have some guests on at some point, so it'll be good to get some questions.
Griffith better show his face.
Yeah, but we'll have some questions you guys might want them to answer, and so we'll kind of designate this time to do that. But for now, just to have some fun, what do we do? Let's do top 3 comedy movies. All of us?
Yeah. Start us off, Joey. Start us off.
We'll start with that here because we might get some comedy movies that we don't even know.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously older, but that's what I'm saying. There's a couple. I mean, and they're not like super super funny. Some of them, but like The Great Outdoors is like one of the all-time best because Uncle Buck is kind of like my dad. You mean Hauser with you guys?
No,
I'm sorry.
Uncle Buck is
two different movies.
God, I got goofed that up already. Chet Ripley. Yeah, I had Uncle Buck on my head too.
So that's a good one too.
Yeah, I'm just I'm a candy guy.
You can only pick 3.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going with Great Outdoors, Fletch, Caddyshack.
Oh, he stole one of mine.
Wow.
I thought I was going to have old ones.
Well, I know, but Caddyshack is, I mean, everybody knows Caddyshack. Who doesn't know Caddyshack?
It's in the hole, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, you got it. No, you got it.
You want me to go? All right.
Yeah.
Number 1, purely because I can watch it if it's on TV, if it's on whatever, if it's on Netflix, every single time I'm watching it. Old school, no doubt about it. I got to kind of rethink here because Dad stole my Caddyshack.
Spanish!
I probably would say would put Tommy Boy in there, no order.
Ooh.
What would my third one be?
Well, you can lop on Caddyshack.
Well, Caddyshack is probably my third one, but I don't want to say Wedding Crashers because that turns into kind of a rom-com at the end. So, but I do like Wedding Crashers. Probably, man, come back to me on that third one. I'll think about it. Sam, you go.
All right, my number 1 probably is Talladega Nights. My number 2. My number 2 might be Couples Retreat. I think that one's hilarious. And then 3 for me. 3 for me. This is tough. I'm between Anchorman, Superbad, and Wedding Crashers. And I think I'm gonna go with Wedding Crashers.
You know what? I'm gonna take Superbad. I can't believe I didn't think about that one. That's definitely. If that's top 5 for me for sure, but I'll take it as my third right now.
I thought you'd say Napoleon Dynamite.
That's a good one too.
Well,
that's kind of like it's too dumb. Yeah,
it's like a cult following. It's like a cult following. It's almost like No Shovel Club. It's a cult following.
Well, we're bigger than a cult following. No Shovel Club.
This is a good one. Yeah, give me your. We'll have some very different answers. Give me your top 3 arenas that you've played in as a player.
As a player?
For those who don't know, our dad played at the University of Minnesota Duluth. Good Division II program.
First of all, not one gym I played in college was called an arena.
Top 3 gymnasiums that you played in.
Yeah,
I would say
gymnasiums.
the
Yeah.
Romano Gymnasium in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just because we had some great games, with this team, we played David Lipscomb down at their place, and then we played NAI basketball. So we used to play at the old Kemper Arena, which was Kansas City Kings, and we played there. So that was an arena
down there,
like 15,000 people, but there was only about 400 people there. But that was the only time I played in an arena. So
That's good.
Sam, what's your you've played in all of them now, but what's your top 3 in the NBA then, I guess, or college, yeah.
Madison Square Garden is definitely in the top 3.
Yeah.
Kind of goes without saying. Hinkle Fieldhouse, where Butler plays. I love that. I love the feel of that one. It reminds me of the Hoosiers movie for whatever reason. Oh, don't they play there in the movie technically?
Yeah.
It's 10 feet tall. They take out
right. And then, man, it's the TD Garden, of course.
Yeah.
I have to put it in there.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Garden. I'm going to copy you, Sam. Madison Square Garden. Number 2, Assembly Hall.
That's a good one.
You played there, Sam, right?
Yeah, we got smoked.
Yeah.
It's a good one, though. It gets loud.
And then my last one, this last one is purely because of the rims. I've played there one time, but I watched Sam play there a couple times. I don't even know what it's called, but Creighton's gym.
No.
The rims there are literally, they're so loose that I think you could just throw it at the hoop and it goes in.
The Shooter's Gym.
Well, Joey, you played there.
Gym.
Yeah, I know. I played there. I'm just saying I've only played there once, though.
Shooter's Gym.
I don't know what it was called.
I forget, but I remember when we were like getting ready to go to that was my freshman year. We were at Marquette. We're getting ready to play there. Someone's like, "Yeah, wait till you see these rims." Like, what do you mean? Wait till you see these rims? They just everything goes in. And they were right. We had a overtime game. And I think it was like 110 to something. So obviously we shot the ball well.
A lot of shot making in that game.
Was that Sam? Was that the game you banked it in to get to overtime?
That was the game. Yep, same game.
Yeah.
Clock operator error right there. He didn't start it on
time. Yeah, I just remember how soft the rims were. I'm like, what is going on? Like these things, they weren't even screwed in. It felt like.
Who was it? It was Bo Borowski. Didn't have enough information to overturn it. I think maybe.
Yep.
Good ref.
Yeah.
Really good ref.
All right.
Ooh, let's not do top 3 refs. I don't think that'd be good. Well, if they're top 3, top 3, but not bottom 3.
Yeah, we will save the top 3 refs for a different time.
We'll stay away from that.
Yeah. Any other top 3s? We got any other ideas, or should we wrap this thing up?
We can wrap it up. Let's save them for the next episode.
Yeah. And then like I said, we'll get some questions in here that you guys want to hear, but that covers it, man. That's the first episode of On The Haus. I mean, we're gonna keep getting better at it. We're gonna keep on trucking.